These videos were taken at the Killingly Town Hall tonight on June 15th. There is Amazon threatening to put together a 1 million square foot, cutting down about 500 acres of forest over a variety of wetlands here in Killingly, Connecticut.
It's a 21st century sweatshop.
Totally ruined Killingly.
I've heard overwhelming opposition to this project, overwhelming opposition.
It shouldn't even be a consideration. It shouldn't even be a consideration. You don't mess with wetlands.
Amazon's Killingly plan at 556 acres is equal to 420 football fields. So scale matters.
The blasting isn't that loud. I know my friend's child wouldn't have a heart. It was a shaking in my house that felt like an earthquake. And them saying that it was no big deal.
That this is the worst thing that will ever happen to Killingly.
This is gonna overflow the sewer treatment plant that we spent, what, $22 million on upgrading several years ago?
To pump the brakes. We gotta make sure we're not gonna get it up the backside. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it in the back door. Okay? Well, maybe somebody does. Okay. So, that being said, we've had buses rear-ended on Route 6 already.
I'm not going out there and I'm not cleaning up their pee bottles because they're just throwing them out the window.
Number two, habitat loss in North America alone has resulted in the loss of 1 billion breeding adult birds in just 49 years. Even on only 500 acres in North America, there could be tens of thousands of birds, hundreds of mammals, 200 billion insects, and almost 9,200 plant species. That 500 acres is not just a barren development, but it could be if Amazon gets its way. For Amazon to come in, have somewhere between 200 to 500 semis per day, not counting hundreds of delivery vans, funneling onto Westcott 395 and whatever other secondary roads. The most polluting part of Amazon is the last mile, either leaving or re-entering the warehouse. One warehouse emits thousands of metric tons of CO2, not to mention nitrogen dioxide, which is linked to asthma and heart disease.
That sort of pollution tends to settle in the valley, and in that valley is Killingly Memorial School, new recreation center. So that's something that's a very real phenomenon. That's really what smog in some of these cities is, and the good part of our town is below in that valley.
This is Killingly. The people who live here, who work here, who worship here, who raise their children here, who send their kids to the schools here, that's Killingly. That's what you should be protecting. That's where your interest should be, in protecting the interests of the people. And we've gotten up here with some very eloquent speakers telling you what their interests are. And it still feels like this is going to be rammed down our throats, like it or not.
Animals have places, they have homes. And when we go in and clear cut and destruct 420 football fields of land, where are all these animals gonna go?
They're the ones whose hard-earned property will immediately lose value and will be harder to sell due to the proximity of the facilities. We'll be the ones bearing the cost and consequence of project faults and defaults. Where is the benefit? Where is the balance?
Where's our vote? Yeah.
Million something square foot, what did you say, how many football fields?
420 football fields.
420 football fields worth of noise, light pollution, air pollution. I'm pretty sure that this area, if I'm not mistaken, if you talk to the school nurses, that we already have a really high incident of children with asthma. We do. This cannot be good for them or for anybody else.
the Project Husky plan, which I am mostly going to refuse to call it that because that's a pretty insidious name for an Amazon project.
I know.
You still have to listen to citizens. I echo the call for a public hearing on this issue, so that we also have time to organize our fellow community members. And I'll tell you what, we already have a bipartisan coalition of Clean Water Coalition, Keep Killingly Rural. I'm a member of Connecticut DSA, the Northeast branch, and I have been for quite some time. And we're organizing together, and we are happy to work together to fight this. So,
Please listen to the people living here. We should have a voice in decision making when this is something that impacts many families living right by this.
If this project goes through, a memorial should be erected to all the animal victims of Markover, as well as the wildlife that will die due to Amazon.
In this area all of my life, I'm very concerned of contamination of soil and water. The proposed facility would sit directly on top of the active aquifer that supplies Killingly's drinking water, and the contamination from the blasting into bedrock. I have a beautiful grandson who is on the spectrum, and noise is a very big concern. He has a hard time adjusting to any noise that he cannot control. I also have someone in the family that is dealing with chemical exposure, and we just can't take the additional risks that are inevitable once this huge monstrosity is built. I haven't even touched on the wetland disruptions. I will touch on that soon, since we have been told to separate the two.
Oh, come on.
Come on. 21 minutes.
John.
Second.
Deserve to be heard.
How much more are you gonna tip the scales?
Come on. Really?
John.
Go one man.
Aren't we the town?
It's 5 minutes. No, you haven't heard everything.
You know what? This is a bad deal. This is a bad project. Everybody's madder than hell.
You bought and paid for it.
You talk to the chair.
We make a motion,
Whoever.
we take a 10-minute break.
Take a motion and take a 10-minute break. You want a second?
I say we require Amazon to put up a liability bond and several $1 million to reimburse those people for the property values they've destroyed. So I'd like to know who the coward was who called the state police. Are you sitting in this room right now? If you are, just raise your hand, please. No one? You know, people who bend to that kind of level to destroy other people are really disgusting. That's all I got to say.
In your First Amendment.
So, your job is to protect the interests of the town. That's what you have to do. What's best in the long-term interests of the town? But what is Killingly? It's not this amorphous thing that we can't put a definition on. It's the people. And you know, I'm curious what part of this project has any long-term redeeming value for the town. This would not be temporary imposition on us in terms of noise, in terms of dust from construction, like when they built Killingly Commons. Killingly Commons is a center of commerce, jobs. It lasted a few years with all the construction and it was done. And I bet everyone in here has been to Killingly Commons at some point. This is not that. This has no long-term redeeming value for the town. This will be permanent disruption. This will be air pollution, light pollution, water pollution, noise, traffic, decreasing property values for years to come. How is that good for the people? And I ask, why us? Why us? Why here? What part of Killingly do you associate with mega warehouse distribution center? And the other thing is, when you hear the opposition and you do the, yeah, but, how do you think a vote would go if we were entitled to a vote?
You've gotten people like me out here, which is amazing.
We don't want this husky. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't want it. Okay, thank you.
The
rural beauty, the charm, the character, the nature. And I've been to a number of these meetings now, and I'm unutterably sad watching what's going on here. And I feel like it really needs to be mentioned that your mandate is to promote the health, the safety, the general welfare of all of the residents of this town, to avoid congestion of traffic on our roads, to secure from fire and other dangers, to protect and conserve the existing character of the town, and to encourage orderly and beneficial development. Beneficial. That doesn't mean turning us into a high volume trailer truck stop. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you will do the right thing. We don't want this. We don't want Amazon. We don't want Husky. We don't want 90 Putnam Pike. Don't want them. So I hope you pay attention. My name is Beth Chartier. Thank you.
Some deal's been done. They're trying to bring in 1 million square foot to clear cut 500 acres here in the last green valley of Connecticut. What is going on? This cute, beautiful little quintessential town here in the quiet corner of New England. The last green valley in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. They want to put a distribution center with 300 to 500 trucks per day coming through. What will that do to Route 6 and 101 in these small little towns? What will that do to the water?